Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we are going to be doing the PlayStation 1 games that are in the PS3 store. These are games I picked out that are somewhat obscure. Some are just very expensive to get physical copies for, so buying them from the PS3 store is probably your best choice to play these games legit. So I'm not going to go over every game in the list, but these are some games that I think a lot of people don't know that are on there because the PlayStation 3 store is so hard to navigate through right now. It's very laggy, and sometimes people get kicked off. There's a lot of errors going on. But by typing these games titles in, you'll be able to find them pretty easy. So also, too, to search for these games, X told me that when you go to the search bar, if you type classics or classic in that bar, it will go over every game in alphabetical order. So you can kind of search through it like that. I think that's the best way for people to search for these games without being frustrated, because the store, I mean, let's admit it, guys, it's pretty jacked up. So, I mean, nobody really wants to go to the PS3 store right now because it's just so jumbled up. It's nothing like it used to be. There hasn't been any maintenance on it in a while. So, like I said, this is the best way to look for these games. And now let's get started with the list. All right, so the first game is going to be Echo Night. This is a survival adventure game. It gets considered a survival horror game as well. So, I mean, it depends on how you look at the game, but it's a first-person adventure game pretty much. And it starts off with you going back in time, dealing with past issues and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. The physical copy of the game is pretty expensive, so I think the best way for people to play this legit is probably to buy it on the PlayStation 3 store. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite PS1 games. This is Strider 2. What's really cool about this one, it actually comes with Strider Part 1 as well. Strider Part 2 is a miracle in the making. One of my favorite Strider games out there, but even more than the new lately released Strider 2014. Animations are really well done. It really shows you what the PlayStation 1 could do in its time if developers knew what they were doing. A lot of people don't know about this game, unfortunately, so hopefully now that actually the physical copy is really expensive, this will probably be the best way for people to try this game out. So definitely check it out. Also, I want to let people know this. If you beat Strider Part 1, which comes with this, you unlock the Zero mission on Strider Part 2, which is really cool, and it kind of explains a little bit more of the story, even though the story is all over the place in Strider games. It's kind of like a comic book pretty much. But just let you guys know that, and then you just use your save and transfer it over, boom, you unlock that level. Next up, we have Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. This game I owned back in the day, and I never really got into it, and I'm figuring out why, because it was part 2 of another story. Part 1, which is Innocent Sin, came out on the PSP. But still, I mean, for Persona fans, there's probably something to be had here. If you like what you're seeing here, if you know, I mean, anything Persona pretty much intrigues a lot of people. So if you like what you're seeing here, it is on the PlayStation Store. A fantastic RPG from the 90s, Xenogears, is here. I can't say enough good things about Xenogears, and it's gotten really expensive somewhat, so I think this is another good way to play it. It is a deep RPG, so make sure you have time to play this one. But the battle mechanics are a lot of fun. It switches up between human and robot, so lots of good things with this game. Very good story. It gets pretty crazy towards the end, but it's still definitely worth your time. Next up, we have Destrega. Destrega is a gallery fighter that I'm pretty sure went under a lot of people's radars. Koei did a good job on this game. It's really very story driven, and it really interests you to kind of like follow the story till the end. I had a great time with this game. I think you guys will too. That's why it's on this list. I never really got into Front Mission 3. It is a tactical game. It was by Squaresoft back in the day, and I think it's a pretty cool game, but still, I just wanted to put it on this list in case a lot of people didn't know it was on the store. And next up, we have Final Fantasy Origins. This consists of Final Fantasy 1 and Part 2. Honestly, I don't really feel those games were that great. I like how they added the cinematics to the new versions of those games, but this is for diehard fans that are pretty much that you might want these games. Next up, we have Final Fantasy 5 through 9. I think up to I haven't really played 5, so I can't really tell you too much about that one, but I played 6 and up. And I think all those are worth getting, especially since you could play these games on your Vita and your PSP. You can transfer these games to those systems and play them. So that's another good reason to own them. Next up, we have Final Fantasy Tactics. I still have never gotten into Final Fantasy Tactics games. I have the Game Boy Advance version of it, and I like that one, but I never played the original. So you guys will have to tell me more about this one, but I wanted to include it on the list, let you guys know it's there. And next up, we have the Gex games. The first Gex is a side-scrolling platformer, where the second and third games are 3D platformers. Think of something like Mario 64. The Gex games were pretty funny back in the day, but they have that old school 90s humor, so I don't know if that'll kind of mesh with everybody. But still, I thought they were worth putting on the list. And another game here is Herc's Adventures. I never played this one, but I heard a lot of good things about it. You guys have to let me know what you think about this one, but it is on the list. Next up, we have Jumping Flash 1 and 2. These games are pretty much a platform game in first-person view. Very experimental when they first came out, and I still like them to this day. No one's really done that. At least, I mean, not that I've noticed before, but I think Sony was the first one to do a first-person platformer game. So check these ones out if you're looking for something quirky and different. Next up, we have Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid VR missions. I mean, I know everybody's played Metal Gear Solid, and you know, I mean, probably the best reason to own this one is because you could play it on your PSP or you could add it to the Vita. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody has played this game. If not, now's the time to get it. Next up is Mobile Light Force for the PlayStation 1. This is actually a game called Gunbird. A lot of people didn't know that. They took stuff out of the game and kind of like reskinned it as Mobile Light Force with like a Charlie's Angels cover. It's hilarious, but it's still a solid game. But honestly, I would probably just go after the Japanese original. Next up, we have Nitrous Oxide. This game, man, it reminds me so much of Tempest from back in the day. And if you like arcade racing type of games where you shoot stuff pretty much, this game is right up your alley. Definitely has a lot of 90s vibe to it. Totally worth picking up on the PlayStation Network. Alright, so next up we have Shadow Tower for PS1. This game's become very expensive on the PlayStation system, so this is a great way to purchase this game and try it out. I don't remember a lot of people like clamoring about this game back in the day, but it is very interesting. If you like games like King's Field or something currently maybe like it's kind of close like to maybe Demon Souls or Dark Souls, but just on the PlayStation 1, that's the best way I can compare this game. But anyways, it's here for your purchase. Next up, we have One. One is a 3D shooter game where you play as a guy who's trying to figure out his identity, and it's a lot of action going on in this game. Lots of explosion. It just feels like you're playing an action movie, pretty much. Definitely, what you would call a hidden gem for the PlayStation system. Not a lot of people talk about this game, and it is here for your purchase. And next up, we have Vanguard Bandits. This game was created by Human Interactive. You guys know them as the creator of the Clock Tower series. And it was translated by Working Design, so probably got a lot of like alternate discs from back in the day, like alternate covers pretty much. It is very expensive now, so like I said, this is a good way to play this game if you've been looking to play it. It is a grid-based RPG, so expect to spend a little bit of time learning like how to play this game. But if you like what you're seeing here, it might be something you want to pick up. Next up, we have the Syphon Filter series. Syphon Filter 1 through 3, awesome games. I love the original voice actor for Gabriel Logan. I thought he was a fantastic add to the game. And after that, I kind of fell off from the series because without the same voice actor, it just didn't feel like it was the same character to me. But these are fantastic games you should pick up. They're on the cheap. Also, too, as an extra, they actually found the actor that played as Gabriel Logan, the original one. This is John Chacon. He actually, I'm going to add some clips of him playing as Gabriel Logan.
Hey, this is John Chacon, the original voice of Gabe Logan. And I'm partnering up with Syphon Filter Central to give you a chance to win a personalized shirt from yours truly. So follow us on social media and get all the details. Copy? Damn it, do you copy?
Next up, we have Threads of Fate. I haven't played this game in years, but I remember how much fun I had playing it back in the day. And I remember when I got a demo of it, and I really enjoyed it. And I remember it was a monthly release, I believe, from Squaresoft at the time, now known as Square Enix, where they released Legend of Mana. Threads of Fate was the second game, and then after that was Chrono Cross. And a lot of people kind of push Threads of Fate out of the way, kind of like, oh, we don't know what that is. But when you play this game, it's a great game, so definitely pick it up here. Next up, we have the Tomba games. These games did not sell well back in the day at all, so they are pretty rare to find physical copies of. Well, I shouldn't say rare, but they've just gotten more expensive, I would say. So if you want an easy way to try these games out, definitely pick them up here. More people choose the first one over the second one, so I think it's worth just picking up both of them and trying them out. Next up, Twisted Metal 1 and 2. I would tell people to get Twisted Metal 2. That is the best one in the series, even till this day. They just did a really fantastic job on that game, and they didn't really shy from the production values on that game. If you see games after that series, you kind of see where the production value went down. I'm talking about more of the PlayStation 1 games, like Twisted Metal 3 and 4. But anyways, Twisted Metal 1 and 2 definitely worth picking up if you like Destruction Derby type racing games. Also, Tomb Raider is here. Tomb Raider 1 through 4, the last one being Revelation. You know, I'm a real big fan of Tomb Raider 2. I had a good time playing that game. I remember playing it all the way through it, which I will never do again because the controls in those games are pretty stiff, I would say. But if you love the Tomb Raider series from back in the day, you might want to pick these up. Vagrant Story is a tactical RPG with a deep story. The story hits you in the feels right in the beginning. It's pretty messed up, but very good game. I think it was ahead of its time back in the day. I didn't really hear a lot of people talk about it, but still a solid RPG by Squaresoft, now known as Square Enix, of course. Now here is Tecmo's Deception series 1 through 3. I've only really played the third one a lot, which is pretty much the rarest one and the most obscure one. You don't ever hear anybody talking about it. But if you saw my video that I did about the PS2 game called Trap, you know what to expect here. I'm not sure what the physical games are going for, but the price you see them on here, they might be worth trying out. Now we have Rayman 1 and 2. Rayman, a great 2D platformer game. You know, this came out on a lot of different systems. Still plays well to this day. And then you have Rayman Part 2, which is a 3D platform game. What's really cool about this version of the game is that this is the only version of Rayman 2 where you can unlock the original Rayman 2, which was a 2D platformer just like its predecessor. There are many versions of Rayman 2 out there, all of them pretty good games. But what makes this one unique is that it has that unlockable, and I think that unlockable is pretty important. Next up, we have Sayuki Journey West. I played this years ago, and I felt like it was an okay game. You know, it was definitely interesting, but I never got into it all the way. I saw it in the store, and I thought I would add it to this list. So you guys let me know what you think about this one. Next up, we have my favorite Ridge Racer game of all time. That's Ridge Racer Type 4. I just had a lot of fun with this game. I still remember the intro from back in the day, how it just really intrigued me about the game. But every Ridge Racer game, well, I don't want to say every Ridge Racer game is like awesome, but this one is my favorite one. And I hear it's a lot of other people's favorites too. All right, so next up, we have Wing Commander Part 4. The Wing Commander series has a strong following even to this day. The third and fourth games are the games I've played. One thing I love about these games is they have FMV scenes in it, and not just the cheap FMV. It has real actors playing serious roles. You have Mark Hamill, John Reyes from Sliders, and Indiana Jones. Hopefully I said his name right. But anyways, if you like what you're seeing here, you'll probably want to pick this one up. If you are a fan of the Parappa the Rapper games, then you might want to try the side game, which was called Unjammer Lammy. It was like, Parappa the Rapper was more of a rap game. This one's more of a kind of like a rock and roll type game. It's pretty fun, and you can unlock Parappa the Rapper as well, like to kind of like play into some of the songs. But it didn't really like jump with me. But I'll try it again and see if it pops now. And next up, we have the Jet Moto series, Jet Moto 1 through 3. These games are always kind of like all over the place for me, so I don't really know what to say about them. I know they have a pretty much cult fan base, so I wanted to include them in this list, but The racing for me was always weird with this game. The controls has always seemed a bit off, but hey, some people got used to it and liked the games a lot, so thought I'd include them on the list. Next game we have Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is actually one of the first PlayStation classics that was released on the system, and still a game worth getting today. Unless you want to buy the original game for the price it's going for now, I think this is your best bet to pick it up for cheap. Next up, we have Arc the Lad 1 through 3. The Arc the Lad games were published in America by Working Designs, and they came in a nice Working Designs box, but that's expensive now. So if you like your turn-based tactical RPGs with a good story, I would say definitely try these games out. Legend of Mana was released on the PlayStation Network. I played this back in the day, and it took me a while to get into it, you know, because it's like a you kind of piece the story together on a map, how the game plays. It's kind of weird to talk about, but it actually ends up being a decent, I would say, Secret of Mana type game. So if you're a fan of that series, you might want to check this one out. And next up, we have the Bloody Roar games 1 through 2. Bloody Roar is a really cool fighting game. Definitely crazy combos, wild. Kind of reminds me of another game I can't think of right now, but if you like the footage you're seeing here, you might want to pick this one up as well. Legend of Dragoon is a must-have RPG. This game took 5 years to develop, and it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Can't say enough good things about it. A lot of people want a sequel to it. That'll never happen because the production values were so high for the first game. I couldn't imagine what they would be for the second game if they made it. But we have this one here. Definitely check this one out. The next game here, you know, the Mega Man Legends games are expensive as hell, so this is the best way to get them. If you get them for the price you see them on here right now, $5.99, I think that's your best option for them. You get Mega Man Legends 1 and 2, and also the next game here, which I feel like is a part of the Mega Man Legends games, Tron Bonne. The Tron Bonne, one of the most expensive PS1 games out there. You can get on here for like $6, so that's pretty damn awesome in my opinion. Next up, we have Parasite Eve 1 and 2. I'm more of a fan of Parasite Eve Part 2. I love that game. And actually, what's weird, somebody sold a copy of the game on eBay for over $200 recently. And I was like, what the hell is going on with people, man? That's crazy. But hey, some people got money to burn, I guess. So there's that. But on here, you get it under $10. All right, so very important PS1 games they'll probably get on this list. Suikoden 1 and Part 2. I know some people call them Suikoden or whatever like that. I've been calling it Suikoden, so I'm just sticking with that. But anyways, really good RPG. Suikoden 2 is really expensive, and this is a very cheap way to get the game and enjoy the experience. They're both really good games. Suikoden 1 is really short, but it's really cool how they lead into each other, and you can also use your save off in the first game to transfer a character over to the second game, which is really cool. Definitely check these games out, guys, if you haven't played them yet. There's so many good things about the Suikoden games. It's just it's a shame that some people haven't played them yet. Grandia, of course, introduced me to the series. I like the game a lot. And I think a lot of people should play this one. A really good RPG, very funny voice acting, cool moves, cool spells, cool story that changes up. I've never played an RPG like this where certain characters will just leave. I thought that was crazy. When you get characters in the RPGs at the time when I played them, who you got stayed with you. But this game, you never know who's going to stay with you or leave. So, very, very, I want to say, emotional RPG. And next up, we have Alundra. Alundra, my buddy Joel, this is like his favorite game on the PS1, or well, RPG at least. And Alundra, I like Alundra a lot, but man, those puzzles are brutal. I mean, gosh, they give you no clues, but still a fantastic game. A lot of people, probably know that Alundra is very expensive now if you get a physical for it. So, hey, here's a cheap option for you. Next up, we have Castlevania Chronicles. Castlevania Chronicles came out on PS1 and nobody knew it. I think it came out as a budget title, like for $40, but now the game's gone up. So here's another cheap option to get it. Then you have Resident Evil 1 through 3. My favorite, you guys know, is Part 3. But And man, I was hoping the remake would be better, but hey, you know, at least I got the original to hold it down. So you get these on here for cheap. Also, you have Dino Crisis 1 through 2. Dino Crisis, Lee, I can't say enough good things about this series. I love the first one, and I love the second one as well, even though it changed things up. These games have become more expensive now, so here is the best option to get them on the cheap. Then we have Silent Hill, one of the scariest games ever made. That's gone up for physical, so this is another option to get the game. I can't say enough good things about Silent Hill, but it's one of those survival horror games that you don't really want to play too much because it's too creepy. I even have a hard time playing the game again because it's just like too dang scary. Next up we have Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross, I just thought I should add on here just in case, because I don't know, I just felt like it was needed to be on here. I love that game more than the original Chrono Trigger. I know that's kind of controversial, but that's the way it is. But you can get it on here for cheap. And next up we have Klonoa, another expensive PS1 game. You see the price on here. Well, I mean, the price is not going to change on the PSN, but you can get this one for under $6. Totally worth it. And another thing I want to mention, because this is the last PS1 game before I go to the next category, these games, PS1 games, could be downloaded onto your Vita and PSP as well as your PS3, so you can play them on 3 different formats. And also the Vita TV is included in that, even though I count it as the Vita itself. But just wanted to let you guys know that. And also, okay, well, I guess we're into the last section here. There's some Japanese PS1 games on the PSN, but they are definitely hard to find. I'm only going to do a couple of them in this video. If this video does well, maybe I'll do another video and add some more games to this list. But the first game here, one of the most expensive PS1 games in Japan. This is even rare in Japan. Shoot 'em up. Gaia Seed is on the PSN, and a lot of people don't even know about it. Gaia Seed goes for almost over $400 now. It's close to that game Harmful Park, and I just feel like this is the best way for people to play the game because ain't nobody trying to drop that type of money on a game unless money's no object to them. I mean, that's insane. But one of my favorite shooters of all time, I actually did a video on this years ago. And when I typed the game, my video was like the only one that popped up. It's like barely anybody knows this game exists. But if you like what you're seeing here, definitely pick it up. And next we have Wolfang. Wolfang is another game I feel is hidden out there. It's like, I want to call it more of a running gun mech game. You could change the weapons on your mech, and if your mech actually blows up, your character could like leave the mech and like continue to fight until another mech comes into the screen for you to jump into. Very well done game, but unfortunately nobody knows about it. But it is on the PlayStation Network, so check that one out. And last on this list is Sonic Wings. Sonic Wings, another shoot 'em up, a really good game. Most people know it as Aero Fighters, I believe, but this version is called Sonic Wings Special. What it does, every time you play the game, the first level is the same, but all the levels after that are random pretty much. So you always have a different experience playing this game. Next up, we have Double Dragon: The Verse fighting game. This game is based off the Double Dragon movie that hopefully a lot of people didn't go see. This game is really a lot of fun. This is one of the later Neo Geo releases, and unfortunately, I don't think it was very popular in the arcades, but I think it's a solid fighting game that you should pick up on this list. Next up is Rapid Angel. This game is very expensive on the PlayStation system. I'm talking about $400 to $500. I don't know why. It's a solid beat 'em up game. Pretty fun. The controls are pretty floaty with it, but I still had fun with this one. But if you're looking to play this game, this is the best way to do it. Next up, we have Galaxy Fight. My buddy X recommended this game, but it's like this one is kind of like I don't know. I just feel like the controls are pretty rough with it. But we're gonna actually talk about some of these games in the upcoming video, so I'll just leave it at that. But it's here now if you guys want to try it out. And one of my all-time favorite games has a sequel on the PlayStation. This is The Fireman Part 2. This one has pretty much the same formula as the first game, but the story with this one is that you go into like this indoor amusement park that's set on fire, and you're trying to put out the fire in there. It's pretty crazy. Story's pretty deep. You don't have to really worry about any like the language barrier because the game is pretty much all voice, so you don't have to read any text that's in Japanese. But still, you won't really know what they're saying, but still, that's not going to stop you from knowing your task. So definitely check this one out. And next up is a shoot 'em up called Shien Ryu. I played this game back in the day. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I didn't play it too much. But I know it was good enough to put on this list. So if you like what you're seeing here, you know the drill. And the last game here is Vib Ribbon. This is one of those quirky games by the same people I believe it made the Prapper the Rapper games. Don't know what to really say about it. I mean, you see the footage you're seeing here is pretty wacky, and if you like wacky type games, hey, here it is. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Lots of PlayStation games for you to download if you decide to do so. I will possibly do a dedicated PS2 video for the PlayStation 3 store if you guys let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Hopefully you guys will have enjoyed this list and find some stuff that you want. Radical Reggie, and I will see you all later.